Hi, my name is Nick Thorpe. This is my interviewing a manager assignment. I interviewed Matthew Dade. Matthew works for the City of O'Fallon, Missouri as a camp leader. The City of O'Fallon puts on different camps throughout the year at the Renaud Spirit Center. These camps are for kids in kindergarten through 5th grade. Camp counselors are usually college students. As a camp leader, Matthew is in charge of scheduling these counselors. He is in charge of scheduling day-to-day activities. He's in charge of handling issues with parents and with other injured kids, and also coordinating with other camp leaders like himself to make sure that the camp experience is good for the kids. I first asked Matthew about scheduling. When scheduling counselors, Matthew looks at two things. He first looks to see if an employee has requested time off. Second, he also looks to see which counselors work best with which kids. Matthew said it is important for him to keep up employee morale because he wants his counselors to provide a good experience for the kids. He gave me an example that every week the camp counselors and camp leaders will go out to dinner off the clock. This helps them get friendly with one another so that they can enjoy coming into work and provide a good experience for the kids. Matthew said that they also do team building exercises. It is important to him that his counselors work together as a team, so these team building exercises will certainly help with that. I then asked Matt about performance reviews. He said that every counselor fills out peer evaluation forms of other counselors. When these forms are turned in, Matthew and other camp leaders meet with the counselors to discuss these evaluations. Together they are able to work out areas in which they can improve. Matthew also has to deal with disciplining employees. Depending on the severity of the action or actions, Matthew and other camp leaders will meet with the counselor and discuss the issue. If it is a serious issue, Matthew will go to the camp director. It is also important to Matthew that the counselors are able to learn from experience. If a counselor is struggling with something where they make a mistake, Matthew will advise them on what the best way to move forward would be. He wants these counselors to learn on their own, but with the help of himself and the other camp leaders. I asked Matthew about ethics at his job. He says the decisions at his job can be tricky because it is a children's camp. They have strict guidelines because of this. The biggest one, he said, is that children can never be unsupervised. He gave me an example of one of their procedures. When a child needs to use the restroom, a camp counselor has to walk with them to the restroom, but cannot go in to the restroom with them unless there is another camp counselor with them. Daily activities. Matthew is in charge of these daily activities. Every day, Matthew will go over the scheduling and the general outline of activities with the camp leaders and counselors. The kids are divided into different groups and are doing different activities throughout the day. Matthew and his other camp leaders must coordinate which group is where and what activities they will be doing throughout the day. Matthew also told me that they do a few field trips per camp, and he's in charge of these field trips. Matthew says there can be some tough decisions at his camp. He says that when a big decision does have to be made, he'll talk with other camp leaders and will go over the pros and cons of the decisions. Matthew and the other camp leaders will also talk to those who will be affected by the decision and get their input. Matthew gave me an example of a tough decision he had to make. He had one of the children at the camp was becoming violent, and he had some behavioral issues that were ongoing. But as he had become more violent, he was a danger to the other students at the camp. So Matthew and the other camp leaders had to kick him out of the camp and deal with the parents and everything like that. But he was a danger to the other kids, and the other kids were getting hurt and not having a good time at camp because of him. So really left Matthew and the other camp leaders no choice. But he had to talk it out with them, and the decision had to be made. Alright, being a good manager, I asked Matt, what qualities do you think a good manager should be able to possess? He said that to be a good manager, you need patience and understanding, especially as a camp leader, dealing with the kids all day. He said, though, that the most important quality that a manager should possess is good communication skills, and that communication is key in his line of work. That's all I've got. Thank you for your time.